A very good evening, everyone. This is Ms. Indrakshi Bhattacharya. Welcome, everyone, to this webinar, jointly organized by the Journal and Publications Committee and MSME and Startup Promotion Board ICMEI today on this topic, MSMEs, India's silent powerhouse, local roots, global reach. And we are really privileged to have with us as our resource person today, CMA Orko Banerjee. He is the Senior General Manager, Petrochemical Division, Reliance Industries Limited, based at Navi Mumbai. We welcome you, sir. From the
Are we
institute.
on live? Are we on live?
Yes, sir. We are live now. We are live now. We are live. We are live now. We also welcome our chairman, sir, CMA Harshad Shamkant Deshpande, sir. He is the council member and chairman of our Journal and Publications Committee. We welcome CMA Suresh R. Gunjalli, sir. He is the chairman, MSME and Startup Promotion Board ICMEI and council member. We welcome Suresh R. Gunjalli, sir. We welcome CMA Dr. Shumita Chakraborty. She is the Secretary, MSME and Startup Promotion Board, and CMA Sucharita Chakraborty, HOD Journal and Publications ICMEI. And we also welcome our team members. So just before we start, we are playing the Institute anthem first, and then we will start our session.
असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति.
So now I would request CMA Suresh R. Gunjalli, sir, council member and chairman, MSME and Startup Promotion Board ICMEI, to give his address.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to everyone present virtually. Today's the speaker, respected CMA R.K. Banerjee, sir, and my council colleague Harshad Deshpande ji, and Madam Secretaries Sumita Madam and Sucharita Madam. So it's given me immense pleasure to be a part of this joint webinar done by Journal Committee and my MSME committee. So all of you know that last month, June month, we are declared as a MSME month. So in this regard, we conducted so many number of webinars and physical programs across the India also. So the today's subject, MSME is India's silent powerhouse, local roots and global reach. It is a true actually. So around 49% export will be said by the MSMEs only. And the major, the employment provider is the MSME only. The major contributor to GDP is the MSME only. So I think they are the true powerhouse only. So I won't take much of time. So once again, I welcome all of you for today's webinar. Thank you once and all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So now I would request CMA Harshad Shamkant Deshpande, sir, who is the chairman of our Journal and Publications Committee, to give his address.
Thank you, Indrakshi, and I'm thankful and grateful to my council colleague Suresh Gunjalli sir for having last month as the month for MSMEs. In fact, that month also in our management accountant, same thing was we adapted as MSME month was there, and we have received a very good response, and various programs and seminars, webinars that we have held last month yielded a very good and positive results. And today we are having very eminent personality, Banerjee sir, who is going to address us about this various aspects of the MSMEs. In fact, something which is very interesting about MSMEs is that the number of the employment, MSME sector remains one of the major source of the employment for in India. MSME, interestingly, one more thing that generally first job that what the any person gets. So in almost 80% of the cases, the first job is with the MSME entities. So that is something, makes our youth employable. So we are very much grateful to the MSMEs, and our government is also in line with that and ensuring that this MSMEs, they are groomed. They are not only we just not on for the namesake glorify them, but we with the real intent we try to help them. So various schemes are being announced that are being well received by the MSMEs, and but nevertheless I feel that it is less said than done. So more work is to be done, and of course with our MSME startup promotion board we are facilitating this change. So this we are of course very much grateful to our uh, eminent speaker today, Manager sir. He who is a senior general manager of Reliance Industries Limited. So I think he will be giving us a good insight that how this sector, perhaps from his perspective, how he look at and how we can have the global reach. So MSME sectors, nevertheless, is also interestingly contributor of the exports. 40% of the export happens also through MSME. But there are certain challenges that also we have to take care of. The compliance burden has been one of the talking point. So is the case of the financial access and the delayed payment. So delayed payment has really affected the MSME sector as like anything. So there are been certain steps which government has been taking. So we are eager to listen from our speaker and to know it more. So with this I'm thankful to Sumita madam of MSME board and Suresh sir, and also my team members Sucharita madam and Indrakshi. So thankful to you, Banerjee sir, for your time. So with this, I hand it over to Indrakshi.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Now I request CME Dr. Shumita Chakraborty, Madam, Secretary MSME and Startup Promotion Board ICMA, to give her address.
Good evening to one and all attending today's webinar, which is jointly organized by the Journal and Publication Committee and MSME and Startup Promotion Board. Today's topic is on MSME India Silent Powerhouse, Local Roots, Global Reach, which is a very nice topic have been chosen. And our learned speaker is CMA Argha Banerjee sir, who is the Senior General Manager, Petrochemical Division, Reliance Industries Limited. With others also, I am also eagerly waiting to listen from him. Myself, CMA Dr. Sumita Chakraborty, is the Secretary of the Board, is asked by the Chairman to highlight about the activities carried out in June, the MSME month, and accordingly, a snapshot I just want to give you. In June 2025, to celebrate the MSME month nationwide, our MSME and Startup Promotion Board conducted 6 webinars on different relevant topics on MSME and startups, where very respected and knowledgeable speakers took the sessions. The board also conducted seminars and conclaves jointly with the chapters of the institute, like with Mangalore chapter, Salem chapter, Trivandrum chapter, Pimpri Chinchwad chapter, Kozhikode chapter, and some other chapters on their own have celebrated independently, to name a few like Coimbatore, Jaipur and Howrah chapters. Our bi-monthly publication MSME Tidbits were released in June, the MSME month, carrying the details of the activities of the board. Soon the board will release a monograph on prepackaged insolvency resolution process for MSMEs. So likewise, we are carrying out the activities. Today, we are very pleased to conducting this webinar jointly with the Journal and Publication Committee. Hope everybody is eagerly waiting for listening to our learned speaker. So without killing much of my time, I just want to revert back to the moderator Indrakshi to carry on. Indrakshi, over to you, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I had the privilege of introducing our speaker, CMA Orko Banerjee, sir, who will enlighten today's webinar. Sir, he is a veteran senior executive with decades of leadership experience in large corporate, Reliance Industries Limited, spanning finance, audit, and strategic planning. He is the fellow member of the Institute since 2001. He also holds certification as an anti-bribery lead auditor from BSI Delhi. His diverse perspective brings valuable insights to today's discussion, sir. So now it's really, sir, an honor for us. So now I would request sir to please start his address.
Thank you, Indrakshi. Let me know when my presentation is visible to you. Is it visible now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Good to go?
Yes, sir. It is visible
Yes.
now.
Yes. So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. I take this opportunity to convey my heartfelt thanks to our President CMA Vibhuti Bhushan Nayak, Vice President CMA TCA Srinivasa Prasad, Chairman Journal and Publication Committee CMA Harshad Deshpande, Chairman MSME and Startup Promotion Board CMA Suresh Gunjalli, and my dear professional colleagues for providing me such a wonderful platform to speak. So MSME, India's silent powerhouse. Now I know what you might be thinking, oh no, another webinar on MSMEs. More numbers, more policies and government schemes. But let me say this upfront, we are not here to rattle off statistics or recite policy jargons. Those are being discussed in plenty of other forums, white papers and government reviews. Today, we are here for something else. We are going to uncover a story that is playing out every day across the lanes of small towns, inside tiny workshops, home kitchens, village markets, and even quietly on smartphones. It's the story of India's real economy, the one powered not by billion-dollar valuations, but by everyday courage. By the shopkeepers who opened during lockdowns, the artisan who learned digital payments, the woman who turned a loan into a livelihood. This is not just a presentation, it's a journey. This is the world of MSMEs, and in the next 1 hour, we will journey through their scale, their struggles, their surprising innovations, and their silent revolution into the lives, challenges, resilience, and rise of India's MSMEs, who may be called micro, but carry a macro impact. So let's begin, not just with slides, but with a shared sense of purpose. So when we speak of India's economy, we often imagine billion-dollar startups, gleaming tech parks, and mega industries. But India's true engine, the heartbeat of our real economy, beats in small towns, in workshops, in local manufacturing units, and in rural innovations. And that engine is MSME. Before we go deeper, let me ask you something. How many of you know someone, maybe a family member, a neighbor, or even yourself, who runs a small business? Maybe a grocery shop, a tailoring unit, a beauty parlor, a food product brand, or even just selling something online. Yes, that's the magic of MSME. They are not far away in the system. They are around us, among us, and often within us. So let's start with a quick decode. MSME stands for micro, small, and medium enterprises. But honestly, this is more than just a government classification. These are the neighborhood tailors, the small factories making auto parts, the women selling pickles online, or the startup building software from a small home office. They may not have giant buildings or TV ads, but they create jobs, bring income to villages, and make products we use every single day. Together, they power about 1/3 of India's economy and give employment to nearly 8% of our population. So when we talk about MSMEs, we are talking about the dreams and efforts of everyday Indians, turning ideas into income and work into work. Let me tell you a story. In the heart of Majuli in Assam, the world's largest river island nested in the Brahmaputra, there lives a woman named Bhubanmala Devi. 10 years ago, she began with just traditional wooden press, a few kilos of mustard seeds from her family's farmland. She used to sell mustard oil in recycled glass bottles to nearby village huts. What began as a subsistence activity slowly transformed. With a mudra loan of 50,000 bucks and training through a local MSME cluster program, she mechanized her oil press, learned about branding and food grade packaging. Today, her small agro-processing unit supplies cold-pressed mustard oil across Assam and even to eco stores in Bangalore and Delhi under her own label Majuli Gold. Her enterprise now employs 12 women. It uses waste husk as biofuel and it sources master seeds from over 200 local farmers. She never left her island, but her story has traveled across India. This story captures the essence of MSMEs, how local knowledge, small credit, and support system can turn rural businesses into scalable, sustainable, and inclusive growth engines. Did you really know MSMEs contribute over 30% to India's GDP, employ 11 crore plus people, and make up nearly half of our exports? They may be small in size, but they are mighty in impact. Let's now take a moment to really understand what MSMEs are. Because they are not just a checkbox on government form. They are a silent yet powerful force behind the Indian economy. MSME stands for micro, small, and medium enterprises. In 2020, this definition was revised to give more flexibility and room to grow for small businesses. Let's simplify this. A micro enterprise invests less than 1 crore and earns under 5 crore annually. A small enterprise can invest up to 10 crore with turnover up to 50 crore rupees. And medium enterprise can go up to 50 crore investment and 250 crore turnover. Now, don't worry about memorizing these numbers. The real takeaway is this: these are not giant corporations. They are the shops, the startups, the factories, the firms, and the home-based units run by everyday people. Often with just an idea, a bit of courage, and a small loan or savings. They come in many forms: manufacturing units like textile weaving in Tirupur or leather goods in Kanpur, service providers from logistic firms to digital marketers working from small towns, agri-based businesses like spice processors in Kerala or honey collectives in Himachal, informal setups, dhabas, mobile repair units, artisans, often without registration, but forming a huge part of our economy. And today, increasingly, we see tech-led MSMEs, startups solving the real problems with code, working out of garages, co-working spaces, even from home balconies. What truly amazing is how widespread they are, not just in metros, from tribal belts to border towns, villages in Odisha to industrial zones in Maharashtra. MSMEs are everywhere. and they often reflect the strengths of their local geography. Let me give you a simple analogy. If India's economy were a living body, MSMEs would be the circulatory system, not always visible, but absolutely essential. They pump jobs, income, and opportunities into every corner of the nation. And that's why I love this line. MSMEs are not a sector, they are a system of resilience, decentralization, and inclusion. They bounce back after shocks like the pandemic. They spread economic activity beyond cities. And most importantly, they give a platform to those often left behind, the women, the youth, the rural artisans, the differently able entrepreneurs. So the next time you see a modest signboard, an e-rickshaw carrying goods, a homegrown brand on your Instagram feed, think about this. Behind that simple setup could be a business that's a part of 37 lakh crore economic network, creating real jobs, real goods, and real change. Let me ask you, how many of you have interacted with an MSME today, knowingly or unknowingly? Well, it could be a cab driver, the small brand you ordered lunch from, or that indie seller on a shop next to your residence. So we have spoken about what MSMEs are, but let's now dive into something even more powerful, what MSMEs actually do. And no, this is not theory. These are real numbers and more importantly, real lives being shaped. First, employment. MSMEs are the second largest employers in India, right after agriculture. From handloom worker in Bengal to a small auto parts supplier in Pune to a cafe in Shillong, MSMEs together employ more than 11 crore Indians. But here's the deeper truth. They don't just give jobs, they give livelihoods. People stay in their towns and villages. They work with dignity. They pass on skill to the next generation. This is employment with roots, not just economic, but emotional. Now let's talk about the big number, GDP. MSMEs contribute nearly 30% of India's total GDP. That means out of every 100 rupees created in our economy, rupees 30 of it comes from MSMEs. And not just from factories, but from dhabas, the kirana stores, from home-based artisans, from mobile vendors. They may not be listed on the stock exchange, but they are deeply listed in the lives of people. And thirdly, if you think MSMEs are just local, think again. 48% of India's total exports come from MSMEs. Yes, almost half of Indian export. From the zari of Varanasi to the precision tools of Coimbatore, from organic spices in Kerala to software modules from small town coders. MSMEs are quietly carrying the Made in India label across the world. Fourth, one of the most beautiful transformations. MSMEs are leading the way in financial inclusion. Many of them are first-time borrowers, especially women and rural entrepreneurs. Schemes like Mudra loans, SHG bank linkages, they have helped create home-based food businesses, tailoring units, mobile repair shops. This is not just money. This is about identity, about confidence, about decision-making power. And in many cases, it's about a woman becoming the economic anchor of the household. Now, tell me, why do so many people leave villages for cities? Because there are no jobs where they live. MSMEs are helping to reverse that migration. A well-run MSME in a small town doesn't just create jobs, it anchors the local economy. It reduces pressure on metros, on slums, on urban infrastructure, and allows families to stay together. Finally, how about sectoral spread? Think of any sector and MSMEs are there. In textiles, they are weaving in Surat and embroidering in Lucknow. In engineering, they supply to major auto brands. In food processing, they add value to farm produce. In electronics, they are helping make our mobile phones. In tourism, they are running homestays and making crafts. They are not a footnote. They are part of every paragraph in India's economic story. If you look at the chart on the screen, you will see it. MSMEs don't just support the economy, they drive it across GDP, jobs, exports, and inclusion. So let's pause here and take this in. MSMEs are not just contributing to India's economy, they are helping shape the kind of economy we actually want. Decentralized, not just metro focused, inclusive, not elitist, sustainable, not extractive, and above all, human, not just financial. Because when we support MSMEs, we do not just grow the economy, we grow people, we grow communities, and we grow futures. Let me ask you here, think of one small businesses near you. What challenge do you think they face most? Can you drop a thoughts in the chat? Great. So as of now, we have seen what MSMEs contribute, but now let's pause and look at what holds them back. Because behind every success story, there are 100 silent struggles. The biggest and most painful barrier, access to credit. India's MSME credit gap is over 20 lakh crore. Let that sink in. That's thousands of dreams stuck on paperwork because a loan did not come in time, or a bank said no for lack of collateral or formal records. Even when loans are approved, they are often delayed, expensive, or buried in red tape. Just imagine, what would you do if your business needs just 2 lakh rupees to expand and no one trusted you enough to lend it? Next is delayed payments. This is the slow poison. Many MSMEs supply to big companies or even government agencies. They deliver goods, they raise invoices, and then they wait. 3 months, 6 months, sometimes even a year. Cash dries up. Salaries get delayed. The business suffers, not because of failure, but because someone else did not pay on time. And let me be very blunt, a growing business can collapse not from loss, but from delay. Now let's talk about paperwork. Every MSME entrepreneur knows the pain. GST filing, labor registers, environmental approvals, Udayam registration. For a 5-person unit, compliance feels like a full-time job. It's not that they don't want to comply. It's just that they often don't have time, help, or clarity. And that creates frustration and sometimes the fear. Then comes the skill and tech divide. Many MSMEs still run on outdated methods. No digital tools, no automation, just extra hours, more manual effort, more fatigue. They want to modernize, but can't afford the jump or don't know how to make the leap. Imagine this. A big company uses software for inventory management, and MSME does it with pen and paper every night after dinner. Is that scalable? Is that sustainable? Another big hurdle, market access. Many MSMEs make excellent products, but they don't know how to sell them beyond their district. They are not on Amazon. They have never heard of ONDC. They don't know digital marketing. So despite potential, their market stays small, and with it, their revenue, their dreams, their impact. Let's now talk about something even more invisible: low risk appetite and informality. Over 94% of Indian MSMEs are informal. No GST number, no registration, no digital footprint, which means no formal credit, no government support, no safety net. They operate in the shadows, not by choice, but often by necessity. But here's the tragedy. Informality may help survive today, but it often blocks tomorrow. So when we talk about MSME struggling, it's not due to lack of ambition. It's because they are running a race with a backpack full of stones. Stones named credit, delay, red tape, risk, informality. And yet they run. They innovate. They persist. But just imagine what if we removed even two of these stones? How many more could scale, not just survive? How many more jobs created? How many more local economies transformed? MSMEs are like saplings in a storm. They don't need protection from growth. They need protection for growth. So, folks, we have seen the challenges, and yes, there are many. But now let's shift the lens because the story is not just about struggle, it's about support. Over the last few years, something has changed quietly but significantly. The government's approach to MSMEs is no longer just about rescue, it's now about resilience and long term empowerment. And I often say this line, the policy focus is shifting from survival support to sustainable growth. Let's explore that shift. First, the Udayam registration system. Earlier, starting a small business meant running from desk to desk, office to office, collecting stamps, submitting files, and so on. But now, it's online. It's paperless. It's linked to your PAN card. No agents, no fees, no queues. More importantly, it brings MSMEs into the formal economy, which means access to loans, government tenders, and visibility. During the pandemic, we saw something remarkable. The Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme, or ECLGS, rupees 3 lakh crore in credit. More than 1 crore MSMEs benefited. But here's the key. It was not just about handing the money out. It was about protecting continuity. It helped MSMEs pay salaries, clear vendors, dues, and survive the economic shock. And survival is the first step toward revival. For first-time entrepreneurs, the support begins with microloans. The PM-EGP scheme, the Mudra Loan Program, these are not just acronyms. They are lifelines for young people, for women, for rural dreamers. A 50,000 rupees loan to start a tailoring shop, a 1 lakh rupees loan to open a mobile repair center. These are not small gestures. They are the first step into formal finance. Now let's talk about capacity building. Programs like Skill India, Digital MSME, Cluster Development Program, these go beyond just training. They help MSMEs use modern tools, access digital markets, and build peer networks within industry clusters. It's not just about skilling the person, it's about upgrading the unit. And finally, the Production Linked Incentive Scheme, or PLI. Yes, it's often associated with the large industries, but many MSMEs directly benefit, especially in sectors like textiles, electronics, and auto components. It pulls MSMEs into global supply chains, encouraging them to meet quality standards, raise capacity, and go international. But let me be honest, policy alone does not change lives. Access, awareness, and trust must reach the last mile entrepreneur. That's where you come in as bankers, as mentors, as enablers, as ecosystem builders. Our role is to make sure these policies don't just sit in the PDFs, but live in action. I would like to close this segment with a simple thought. When a policy reaches a person, it becomes a possibility. And when those possibilities are unlocked, villages prosper, women rise, youth build, and economics grow. Let's now take a pause from policies and numbers and turn to the spotlight onto the something far more powerful, people. Because if data tells us what MSMEs do, then stories tell us why they matter. And trust me, these stories stay with you. Let me start with a quiet revolution called Meesho. What began as a small social commerce platform has today empowered over 15 million women to run businesses right from their smartphones. Imagine this. A woman in rural Odisha who never stepped outside her home is now managing customers, handling payments, talking to suppliers, and she is doing it all through an app. This is not just commerce, it is confidence. It proves that the future of entrepreneurship is not just metro driven, it's mobile led, women led, and deeply inclusive. Now let's visit something old but renewed with pride, Khadi. For years, it was seen as outdated, a relic from a dusty past. But today, Khadi is back as fashion, as enterprise, and as a movement. With better designs, e-commerce access, and branding, Khadi has found new markets, including global brands. It's not just reviving the fabric, it's reviving village jobs, dying crafts, and a sense of cultural pride. It reminds that heritage can become a business model if we look at it with fresh eyes. Let's now move to coastal Karnataka, to a place you may have never heard of, Udupi's engineering cluster. This cluster quietly exports machinery to 20 plus countries. No glitzy offices, no fancy logos, just small units and steady quality. They started with local talent and grit, and over time, they built trust, reputation, and reach. What this story tells us in simple, we don't need to be in a metro or even fluent in English to go global. You need consistency, collaboration, and commitment to quality. Finally, from Pune, a story I personally love very much. An ex-IT professional quit his corporate job and started a venture called Bamboo India. His mission? Replace plastic with eco-friendly bamboo products like toothbrushes, pens, cutlery. But here's the best part. He works with rural artisans, reviving bamboo craft, generating jobs, and building a green brand. Today, Bamboo India exports worldwide. It's not just entrepreneurship, it's purpose-driven enterprise. Folks, each of these stories is different, but they all have one thing common. They were not built on venture capital. They were built on people, purpose, and persistence. And that's the soul of India's MSMEs. I always say, innovation doesn't always wear a suit. Sometimes it wears khadi, sometimes it sits in garage, and in India, sometimes it starts with just 10,000 rupees loan and a dream. As we move toward the final stage of today's journey, let's now ask the most important question. Where are MSMEs headed next? Not just what they have been, but what they are becoming. Because MSMEs are no longer about just small factories or local shops. They are stepping into a new phase powered by three pillars: digital, green, global. Digital is no longer optional, it's foundational. From a street vendor accepting UPI to a home-based artisan selling through Instagram to startups on Wendy's, MSMEs are embracing the online economy. It's not just about tech, it's about inclusion through technology. And that's what makes it so powerful. Now, the smallest business can reach the biggest markets from anywhere. The second pillar is green. Eco-conscious enterprise is no longer a trend, it's a necessity. MSMEs are being nudged and supported to adopt cleaner process, renewable energy, green financing. From solar-powered looms in Rajasthan to bamboo toothbrushes from Pune, they are proving that purpose and profit can go hand in hand. And in this process, they are leading India's grassroots green transition. Third is global. Thanks to e-commerce, digital logistics, and FTS, even a tiny enterprise can go international today. They don't need a passport to join the global market. They just need the right compliance, quality standards, and a digital presence. From cluster-based exports to cross-border e-trade, MSMEs are beginning to think beyond borders. And most importantly, they are starting to believe they belong there. And who is leading this wave? They are not just workers anymore. They are founders, innovators, leaders. They are turning ideas into income and problems into products. So yes, the road ahead is not without bumps, but the momentum is real and the potential unstoppable. India's smallest businesses are now dreaming big. And more importantly, they are not just dreaming, they are building. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close to today's dialogue, let's take a moment, not just to summarize, but to truly reflect on what we have witnessed together. We began with a reminder that MSMEs are not just a sector, they are a system, a living, breathing system that pulses with the dreams of real people from villages, small towns, and silent corridors of urban India. We saw their scale, 30% of our GDP, 48% of our export, 11 crore plus livelihoods. But more than numbers, we saw stories, struggles, and spirit. We spoke of the challenges. We spoke of the challenges they face: a 20 lakh crore credit gap, delayed payments, a maze of compliance, skill and tech divide, the invisible wall of informality. But we also saw something else, that despite the odds, they continue to rise because ambition lives in small rooms, innovation grows in unlikely garages, and enterprise doesn't always need a suit. Sometimes it wears khadi or holds a screwdriver or clicks a QR code. We explored how policy is catching up: Udyam registration, Mudra loans, cluster support, PLI schemes, digital skilling. These are not just schemes, they are signals that the state is watching, listening, and enabling. But as we said earlier, a policy becomes real only when it reaches a person, and that is where we all come in. And about the road ahead, it's clear and it's exciting. MSMEs must be digital first, green by design, global in mindset, and led by youth, women, and everyday visionaries who turn problems into possibilities. So I will leave you with this. India's true strength has never come from the top alone. It rises from the grassroots, from the young girl with a phone and a dream, from the potter in his shed, from the woman selling masalas online, from the mechanic fixing machines by instinct, from the lakhs of MSMEs turning every crisis into creativity. Let us support them, let us invest in them, but above all, let us believe in them. Because when India small becomes India strong, India becomes unstoppable. Thank you. Jai Hind. Over to you, Indrakshi. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for such an enlightening and enriching session today. Sir, we have received a few questions. The first
Yeah.
question is, the perspective of banks in the ticket size of the loan granted to the industry seem to be ignoring the bracket of MSME as defined in the Act. This is an issue in reality. Any views on this?
As I said, the change has started. So it will not happen overnight. But we all, being a professional in this field, we have to help the MSMEs to how to convince the banks, how to make them believe that the business will grow and business will sustain. So by that, I believe changes will come in forthcoming days.
So our next question is, how can Indian MSMEs overcome barriers to entering the global markets?
Nowadays there are a lot of scopes because earlier is used to be a very systematic, formal, mechanized ways, but now you don't need to have any formal license. For example, to have IEC registration. So now it is not required. You can export through other agencies like Amazon or Flipkart. They are arranging the export on your behalf without having license in your name. I think that will help the small MSMEs to go global.
So what role do digital platforms play in scaling MSMEs internationally?
Can you read again?
What role do the digital platforms like the fintech, e-commerce, they play in scaling MSMEs internationally?
I think fintech is a support system because I think it has to be taken positively because earlier you have to have a physical presence to be global. Now you can go on digital platform, which I think is helpful to make your presence visible to the outside border.
Thank you so much. With this, we are completing this question answer session.
Thank you
The
very much.
participants are really enriched, sir, by your presentation. Thank you so much, sir. So now I would request CMA Sucharita Chakraborty. She is the HOD of a journal and publications to give the vote of thanks.
Namaskar. In alignment with the global observance of MSME Day on 27 June 2025, we chose the theme MSMEs, the backbone of India's economic future for the June 25 edition of our The Management Accountant Journal. Continuing this vision, the Journal and Publications Committee with Data Promotion Board organized today's webinar on MSMEs, India's silent powerhouse, local roots, global reach. It is both my honor and privilege to express heartfelt gratitude to everyone who made this event a success. Our sincere thanks to our distinguished speaker, CMA Orgo Banerjee sir, Senior General Manager, Petrochemicals Division, Reliance Industries Limited, Navi Mumbai, for his enlightening address. Sir, your perspective on how MSMEs can translate local strength into global presence truly enlightened us. A special thanks to CMA Harshad Deshpande sir, Chairman, Journal and Publications Committee, CMA Suresh R. Gunjali sir, Chairman, MSME and Startup Promotion Board, for their vision, encouragement, and commitment to knowledge sharing and professional excellence. We are also deeply grateful to CMA Dr. Shumita Chakraborty, Secretary, MSME Startup Promotion Board, for her dedicated support in organizing and coordinating this webinar seamlessly. To all our participants, members, thank you for your active engagement, thoughtful questions, and for making the session a vibrant forum for learning and exchange. Our appreciation to all our team members Indrakshi Bhattacharya, Srimati Shomalika Chakraborty, and others, IT support. Your meticulous planning and hard work ensured the smooth execution of today's event. In closing, let us remember that MSMEs are not just economic contributors, they are the heartbeat of India's spirit, rooted in local heritage and reaching toward global possibilities. As professionals, let us continue to uplift and empower this sector that embodies resilience, innovation, and inclusive growth. Thank you once again. We look forward to many more such fruitful and collaborative engagement in the future. Namaskar.
Thank you, ma'am. So
Thank you,
with
thank you.
this, thank you. So with this, we are closing today's program.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.